Hey Fit Fam, Coach Rant from Team Flex. Today we're going to look at NPC Junior USA's, which is a national event, and we're going to go over a couple classes from here that had pro card winners. And so we're going to look at the real class, the real photos from the exact competition, the way the judges saw it, and we're going to go over criteria a bit, right? What do you need to be doing to get yourself a pro card? What kind of look do you need to be bringing? What are the pros going into, right? These athletes are getting a pro card. What are they doing different versus athletes that are not? And that's what we're going to talk about on this video today and what we talk about on this channel all the time. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hang out with me, and let's get down to it, okay? So first thing we're going to look at is Class H, okay? So we're going to look at a few athletes here. This is Deanna. She won the overall. So we're going to look at her class and this group of athletes and kind of go over this top four in this sense of that class and the fact that she also won the overall. So she's the overall winner of the entire event, gets the pro card, and will forever be, you know, the Junior USA winner for Bikini overall. Pretty exciting. Now we got over here Charlie, she's in second, and then we got over here Ashley, and then guess what? We also got another Ashley. All right, so a couple athletes in this call out, a couple athletes in this lineup. First things first, great job to all these athletes. Exemplify the criteria very well, which is an hourglass shape. You got to have that in bikini. You really want to have all of that coming together, and we can see, looking at the screen, everybody has got it, right? They're all drawing it together. This is our hourglass, and this is what we talk about. Whoever has the best hourglass on a bikini stage with the right conditioning, keep in mind, will be the winner. If you get asymmetrical, that's when it can hurt you, right? That's when scoring can change. So let's look at that now as an example that all these ladies really exemplify that very nicely. However, what do they do different, and what could be some points, you know, some things that changed? So first, we're just in one pose. We're just in the front shot. We're going to look at that and talk a bit about that, and then we'll go to the back here in just a minute. All these athletes do have really good shoulder development. However, I do believe that Deanna, our overall winner and our class winner here and our pro card winner, does have the best shoulder development out of the lineup. So you can see she's got that really good rounding effect to the shoulders. The overall shape there is just full, and it really does start that first bit of our hourglass, right? The upper head of that hourglass base. So you got to have this, and I think she has the best out of the lineup. So, you know, that could be a direct factor for how she ends up winning this class and onto her pro card and onto the overall, is that she had good muscle development there in the shoulders. All right, and I think that's pretty obvious. Now, Charlie is very close to that same development and still has great shoulder development, but however, it's not as much as Deanna. So again, I think a very good key here to pay attention to is make sure you have a lot of muscle in bikini. Remember that it's not a diet competition, it's a bodybuilding show, right? So make sure you got that muscle to bring to stage. Now, when we look at the midsection of these ladies, they really do both kind of all tied together. Every athlete in here, great in their midsection. I wouldn't say anybody has anything better than the other. However, our other two athletes in this lineup, the Ashley and then the other Ashley, I was going to say the Ashleys, but Ashley and Ashley here, they both have, you know, a little bit less in the shoulder department again than Deanna does. So again, muscle is the key. Muscle you want to bring. All still great physiques. Lower body wise now is where we usually see a lot of differences in bikini. However, in this lineup, it's not too crazy. It's very on par. It's very similar, very competitive national event we're looking at here. Okay, upper glute is good on all these athletes. Overall, good glute fullness, good symmetry between them all. I think Charlie, she's got a little bit too much in the quad, maybe that could be thrown off her symmetry. She's got very good development in glutes, very good in the quads, very good in hamstring. Everything is there. It just looks a little bit too dominant for this look, so maybe a little more shoulder size would have balanced that out. Same thing over here for Ashley. Very good lower body, but a little bit not matching in the shoulders. And I would honestly say same thing here for Ashley again, is, you know, a little bit too, you know, dominant of a look in the lower body here. So just bringing up the shoulders a bit maybe makes the difference in this lineup to be able to score some extra points in that situation, okay? Now, keep in mind, we're just looking at one pose, and keep in mind, very good physiques, all very competitive. Any of them could be, you know, come pros, and most of them probably will in short time if they keep competing and going to other events. Now, let's take a look from the back, because I always say, you know, these competitions are won from the back, and we want to talk more about the back here. So you'll see a lot of similarities, but also a lot of difference instantly when we get back here. So, you know, Deanna, she's really tied it all together. Good shoulder development here. You can see from the back. Same for Charlie. Same for, you know, Ashley and Ashley. It's all there. But again, we get to see just now how that can really look different from the front versus the back. And that's something you got to know in this. You know, if you want to be a bikini competitor, you got to know that your poses are being scored in front and in back. And you got to make sure that you're showcasing, you know, pretty much identically in both. You don't want to be like, oh, this physique looks like this in the front, and in the back, it just all of a sudden goes away, or vice versa, right? You don't want that. You want to make sure you're showcasing the best physique you can, highlighting your strong points of your physique, and hopefully hiding any negative points if you do have any, right? And so that's where I think, again, we get to see Deanna just looks the most symmetrical to me. Like, you know, if you look at this pose, she's just got a super hourglass shape. Her lower body does look a little bit dominant, but she's got the shoulders that are bigger, so it does match, right? It's not a bad factor. Charlie, very close. I'm assuming this was very close in points. I think, again, though, her upper body, she just had just a tad more upper body. It really would pull that whole look together, but great glute development, good upper glute, good overall. You know, everything is there, very symmetrical. All these athletes otherwise do exemplify that. I think the main thing becomes having the balance factor between the shoulders, where Deanna really had that, and she pulled that together, and that makes a massive difference in this lineup, okay? So now let's pop to another class. I want to talk about another class here, Class E. This is not our overall winner, but it is a pro card winner, and this is our Class E here. So we have Megan here. We got Becken over here in second. We have Allie over here, and then we move out the call out. We got Sydney and then Chantal over here. Okay, so this is our top call out here again. And remember, this is exactly how they were called up, exactly how it lines out, right? And this is really where it all dials together and it comes together to showcase really good physiques across the board. And so here, we want to look now, what's the differences? What is the similarities? What's the difference, right? So Megan, she's got this good shoulder shape. She's got the waist drawing in. She's got the lower body. Same thing with all of our top three. They really do have it all coming together. Hourglass, 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 right? Again, we see it, but it's really three very different physiques as well too, right? Like we can see just how they all tie together just a little bit differently. So for me, I think that Megan, you know, she really pulls it together overall to be the most balanced on this stage from the front. And, you know, I think that over here, Becken, she's got a little bit too much in the shoulder, not as much in the, hey, well, my camera just cut, but I'm going to keep going, you guys. So Becken, I think she's got a lot of width in the shoulder, but maybe not matching as much in the development space in the lower body. And then we look down the call out a bit, you know, it just goes into variances of physique and muscularity. However, again, all these ladies really exemplifying our criteria very well. And, you know, honestly, they continue to compete. They go to national events. They're going to get pro cards likely, right? That's really what we're looking at here, is a very, very competitive class, very good lineup. Now, let's pop to the back post, because I do want to look here. Oftentimes I say everything's one from the back, and this is where we really get to see that, okay? So really close between, again, Megan and then Becken here. I think they're so close in points. However, I think what makes the most sense to me is that Becken, she looks a little bit too dominant in the upper body in these shots, right? Like we're getting more width here, more size here than we do from Megan, and I think that makes a big difference. Very on par for these ladies in the lower body. Good glute, upper glute, good overall glute, good tie-in, everything conditioning-wise, very, very on point, and I think that's key. However, I think that Megan really does pull together a more symmetrical look compared to the upper body in this situation, and that makes a massive difference. So it's interesting to see how two different classes, right, come together a bit differently, where in one class you need to have more shoulders, and in the other class you need to have a little bit more of the lower body effect, right? Like it's just different to see that in sometimes the shoulders are too much and sometimes you need more of them, right? It's just a whole different factor for each lineup in each class, and that's part of you figuring out your best look and where you need to line up. Now looking over here a little bit at, you know, we got Allie. So Allie's coming together here, really nice physique, everything is symmetrical. I just think she needs a little bit more shoulder to kind of match that, all right? So again, very close, and maybe a little bit more depth to her glutes, but when we're talking about pro cards, we're talking about these classes, very comparable. Moving out the lineup, more muscle development needed for the other two ladies, I think, and that's really gonna be the key. So it's fun to look at these pro qualifier events. It's fun to look at who's winning reason and why, and hopefully this all makes sense for you to know what to bring. This is a nice lineup of competition here because basically all of these ladies very well exemplify the criteria. Nobody is off the mark. Everybody is on there, right? And this is good because conditioning is very similar with all of them. You know, muscle size and shape is all very similar. Very consistent, very competitive competition. And I think it just hammers home even more what you need to be doing as a competitor in the bikini division, trying to get your pro card or anywhere else, is really just continuing to advance the hourglass shape and work on that balance up, down, left, right. So key, so critical. The better you can do with that, the more that you're going to get. And that's going to be the real key to your ultimate success on stage. So thank you guys for watching. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and let me know if you want in the comments more NPC competitions. Drop that down there and I'll keep bringing them. All right, thanks for watching. Coach Rye is out.